we methodically worked around carving the annual rings so that we have kind of maximised the interest that there could be here because of the part of the tree that the shape, the sphere, is taken from. There are many centres at that point of the tree where the tree was branching. So we've carved the annual rings from each of those centres and will have methodically worked round the shape. And then you get these interesting bits between the centres where the concentric rings of the annual rings of that branch and that branch come together. We've got these dilemmas, if you like, or like if it was ripples on water, where do the two sets of ripples meet? What happens there? So we've got these interesting areas all over the shape. So we've worked over this kind of the skin of the sphere, if you like, to put the annual rings on. So that talks about the age of the tree and the complexity of the tree at that point. And then there are these great big sweeping in missing areas. We've exaggerated missing parts of the tree so that there would have been sapwood and bark here, and that would have been exactly the shape of the tree at that point. And this huge sweeping area is where the tree separated into branches. So this clearly was one huge limb coming this way, and it has this surface that is part of the original sphere, but then all this missing area here was actually part of the natural shape of the tree, but we've exaggerated it. There might have been lumps and bumps in that, we've smoothed it out. This would have been another branch coming this way, and there are even tiny little knots, epicormic growth, which are very pretty. It's a very beautiful piece of wood, not only because of the complexity of the part of the tree, but the actual wood is very beautiful with these little knots and these incredibly complicated bits of grain where the main grain of the tree and the grain of that branch are separating, so, or coming together, so you get the forces of compression or tension within the tree, and the grain expresses those. We can't work out whether that was the top of the tree or the bottom of the tree. We've looked at it several times, haven't we, and tried to. But because of the tensions with the growth of the tree, that's why this has gone so bonkers here. And it's splitting very nicely and evenly. It started to split whilst the annual rings were being carved, which is not ideal, which is a nightmare actually. The hottest part of the year was when most of the fine carving was happening. So yeah, as soon as you get cracks appearing, that makes it even more complicated to sort of be pushing the tool through the wood and you're getting a gap where the splits are. It's very, very annoying. And so it's carried on drying over the summer through into the autumn now. Coming into the winter, it will slow down. And also, what will slow down the drying is the fact that we've put the oil on there. We've finished it. So the annual rings are carved. Then this area all smoothed and the edges dealt with carefully. And then oiled. We've done 2 coats of linseed oil with terps, a week in between the first coat and the second coat. So the oil is applied, allowed to soak in, and then any excess taken off, so it doesn't go to jelly on the surface in a little pool anywhere. And then the final thing is for me to sign the piece. So I hand carve my initials and the year that it was made into the piece somewhere subtly. Yeah, so it's finished completely. We may put one final coat of oil on before it goes out to site, but it's going into a private garden down on the south coast, and they're having a massive amount of work done and it isn't ready yet, so this will wait until the spring of 26 to be installed.